Welcome back. The background behind me looks so good, it could be a green screen, doesn't it? That's kind of awesome. It's like I'm standing up against a wall and then projecting in the tropics. But no, this is actually where I live. Anyhow, I want to show you guys around what's going in the, I want to show you guys around what's going on around in the gardens. In the gardens around the side, there's some gardens. And I'm going to show you guys what's going on in those gardens. But first, I think there should be a song.
Can you hear me calling famous? Pick up your phone, pick up your phone, pick up your phone, pick up your phone.
All right, let's go to the gardens. Okay, here's a raised bed. There's pak choi. And the pak choi is looking pretty good, except that you can see some of the edges here are getting chewed by something. And pumpkins, as always, are planting themselves in my beds. That's not, I mean, the pak choi doesn't look all that hot right here. But hey, look at these. These are the wild bird peppers that we started and transplanted in here. And these are getting big, and they're blooming, and I'm happy with them. And that right there, look at that. That's an ackee tree. It started itself. There's the seed. I'm going to transplant that one because I've actually decided I really like ackee. And I want to keep that one around. Anyhow, these other peppers are looking really good. And the beautiful refrigerator garden, the classy, Pinterestable refrigerator garden is really looking good. I mean, we're getting herbs out of it all the time now. And it takes almost no work. And a guy gave me this. This is an oxalis with edible leaves. You've probably seen them before. Members of this family are edible, and there's all kinds of pretty members of it. There's the oca, which makes edible roots, and then there's this one, which we just break the leaves off and throw into salads. But it's very beautiful. Look at those pretty little flowers. Isn't that great? I used to have these back in Florida, and I thought, well, I'm not going to see those again. And then I saw some in this guy's garden, and he's like, here, take some, dig some up, you like them? So there we go, I've got some. And oregano, and then this is some sort of a mint basil. It's like somewhere between the flavor of basil and mint. It's really delicious. That's looking pretty nice. And you can see the yams are climbing up the fence behind. And here are my evil tire gardens. Somebody wrote me and said, if you don't know for sure the tire gardens aren't toxic, you shouldn't be telling all of your readers and viewers to build them. And I said, well, I just kind of built them, so I guess I'm a bad example. I'm a terrible example, and yes, the tires are probably going to kill you. So there's my disclaimer, but I built them anyways. So if you die, it's not my fault anymore. Yep. Unless you get secondhand tire through YouTube, and then all bets are off. There's some wilting tobacco. I'm gonna have to water that. Don't look at that. Let's just not look at that right now. As you can tell, Rachel and I made a huge mess here. We yanked out all kinds of debris from the gardens and weeds, and it is looking so nice in here. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Aw, that's great. So this pumpkin here, this is the Seminole pumpkin crossed with calabaza. And I've already harvested 2 off them. And actually, let's take a look at those because they're incredible. Here are the 2 Seminole pumpkin / calabaza crosses that we pulled so far. And the great thing about these, other than the fact that they have excellent flesh inside and a small seed cavity and long storage capability, and they're beautiful, is that they actually stand up. And they're suitable for display purposes. Look at this. They sit. The bottom of it is flat enough that you just set them. I mean, they just, look at that, isn't that great? I mean, that's exactly the kind of pumpkin you want, right? One that you can display on a shelf. And just like those other ones we just saw, here's one that is back here and forming. This will be the 3rd off of these vines, which I'd say is a pretty good yield for a pumpkin vine. And they're still going. I don't know if they're gonna produce much more, but I'm keeping them pretty fed up and they're looking good. Here we've got some peppers and pak choi coming in here looking pretty good. And we've got this area. I just said, forget it, you know what, I'm tired of growing the wild yams all through here. I'm just gonna yank them out and we're gonna plant some other stuff in here. This is Cuban oregano, also known as big thyme, also known as like plectranthus something. That's the official Latin name. Yeah. Those you just take a cutting and stick it in, and I've had a bit of a throat cold lately, as you could probably hear. It kind of makes me sound really masculine. And I've been drinking this stuff as a tea, and it does help. It helps you clear out your throat and everything. So we grow a lot of it, and you can just hack big hunks of it off and put it in your cooking. It tastes a lot like oregano, and it's good. It's good for you. And over here, aw, look at all this stuff. There's a parsley right there. Look at that nice parsley. And then we have our, I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't pull up some of these peanuts to show you. I shouldn't dig around the base of these peanuts, but you can see down here at the base of these peanuts, they stick these little lines into the ground, right? They bloom and they put out a little peduncle, and it goes down into the ground, and it grows a peanut underneath the ground. It's just really cool. But when I was weeding in here the other day, I pulled up some weeds from around them and uncovered a bunch of little, beautiful white little peanuts forming. So out of, you know, that big thing of peanuts that I bought, and I only managed to sprout about 6 or 8, these are the ones that lived, and these peanuts will be our seed for the next round of peanuts, because we're gonna know these are good since they're fresh. Back here, these are pimento peppers, a seasoning pepper. That's not the healthiest looking plant in the world, but these guys over here are seasoning peppers as well, or pimentos. This one here has some sort of a strange nutrient deficiency or something. It's making it white in the center, but the rest of them are looking pretty good. It might be the fact that there was some seaweed in these beds, just maybe a little saline for them. Over here we've got another volunteer pumpkin. I don't know what type this is. I'm hoping it's one of the Seminole pumpkins popping up again, because I want to breed that variety out and plant a whole ton of them. But I don't know. We'll find out when it starts making female blooms. And this bed, for some reason, everything dies that I put in this bed, and the basil's looking pathetic, but there you go. That's what's going on. Let's see, I'll just spin around until you guys get seasick. And here, of course, is my Coccinea grandis, the evil perennial cucumber. You guys have asked about this one a lot, and where do you get seeds? You don't want seeds from these. You want cuttings. You want sterile varieties, because seeded varieties are massively dangerously invasive and have been a real pain in the neck in places like Hawaii. These will go all the way to seed, like they turn red and they get mushy, and you say, ah, that's the time to harvest the seeds. Yeah, but when you harvest them, all you get are these kind of half-formed seeds. They're malformed, and if you plant them, nothing happens. I tried back when I was in Florida, and you know, they come in male and female. So if you just have a female that you just start from cuttings, it's not going to breed and get all over the place. But if you get seeds from somewhere and plant them, boy, you could end up with them all over your property. And as you can see, they really are insane. So anyhow, like in the video this last week that I posted on the 28-year-old cucumber vines, you don't really want them to get invasive. I mean, those things have been sticking around for a long time, and that's a sterile one. That's not even seeds reproducing, that's just from the root. Can you imagine that if they were getting seeded all over the place by animals? That would be a bad idea. So don't do it. See if you can get yourself some cuttings. Go find some Indians at a local gas station and say, do you have any Tindora? And then they look at you like you're crazy, and you say, you know, the little cucumber things. And then you have to draw a picture, or show them a picture on your smartphone and say, these, do you know what these are? And if they're from the south of India, where it's tropical, they'll probably know what they are. And they'll give you some, if you're really nice. Here are the air potatoes climbing up here. The edible air potato, another fantastic invasive. This is the invasive garden, David the Good's invasive garden. And the little one here, which I'm running up this way. I have to keep breaking off the cucumber vines. The cucumber vines keep trying to climb up here, and I keep snapping the vines because I do not want them to overwhelm the air potato. I want the air potato to really grow, because I would like to use this as a crop, and having it run over by cucumbers is not what I'd like. Now we come over here to the sweet potato bed. There's some weeds popping up through the middle and a couple of running yams here. But this one I'm gonna just keep leaving in the ground after my pathetic amount of sweet potatoes from the other bed. Yeah, heck with it. We're just gonna leave this one until we know we have gigantic potatoes beneath the ground. If they're not the size of footballs, I'm not pulling them up. I'm just done with that. But there we go. That's what's going on in these gardens right now. And in the next video, I'll take you and show you the gardens that are over by the Three Sisters thing. I don't know, what do I call those? They're not really the downhill gardens. The downhill gardens are down the hill. Those are just slightly down the hill. So I'm gonna show you these slightly down the hill gardens in the next video. I'm feeling pretty cool about the gardens. I'm also feeling pretty cool about the fact that I actually have a Taylor guitar now. When I was in the States, I took my other guitar in. I was gonna bring it back with me. I took my other guitar in. It had intonation issues. I brought it into the shop and the guy's like, oh man, this thing's all messed up. It's gonna take some time to fix this. Well, I didn't have any time because I had to come back here. So I was like, well, this obviously means I'm supposed to buy an expensive Taylor guitar. So I did. And there goes all my YouTube revenue for the next 2 years. But I have a Taylor guitar. Anyhow, thank you all for joining me. I'll catch you all next time. And until then, may your thumbs always be green.
I went to see David the Good. We listened to Portishead and drank spiced rum.